Howdy folks. Today I wanted to do like a little re-review of the Thieaudio Voyager 14, which are 14 balanced armatures. They have vented Sonion woofers for the low end, and I actually owned these a long time ago. Bought actually the very first pair that came out, and they didn't hit me in the sweet spot like I hoped they would. And after thinking about it for a couple of weeks, I ended up selling them. A friend of mine sent me a pair of his to re-review because basically I recommended the Aune B1s amplifier, and he bought that and tried these V14s with that device and said it was really much better, and I ought to check it out. So that I'm doing that today. And in fact, I do believe he's right. They do sound much better with the Aune. And I mentioned this in a couple other reviews, but the all balanced armature sets seem to do a little bit better with the Aune for whatever reason. A couple little things here. The Thieaudio extruded 2-pins tend to crack, and I do believe this one is slightly. Let me see. Is it this one? It could be this one. I'm not 100% sure which of them. Anyway, the little plastic around the 2-pin connector does crack on a lot of these, and I don't know, in case people care. I think maybe they're not doing this style of connector anymore. Yeah, so other than that, my pair was actually fairly, well, a little more clear than these guys, but they have a little bit of haze inside of them, no fingerprints or anything like that, but yeah. And they're really well built, actually. We got a dip switches, let's see, 4 sound signatures, I think, something like that. And so I just wanted to do a little quick re-review now that I've got other sets to compare to and things like that. And maybe this will be a little more accurate of a review. In fact, the score went up a little bit, so that's kind of cool. So just go over a few things. Here's my chart. We are talking about the V14s right here. And I did, in fact, use the tracks that I've been comparing sets on recently, and I'll put that in the description of this as like 15 tracks. It ranges from like bass style tracks to grindcore metal to, you know, female vocals, male vocals, and everything in between. Some EDM, some classic rock type stuff. Good, kind of a good selection. Although I'll tell you though, like J-pop, like. No, I don't like any of that, so that's not going to be on my listening list. Anyway, the exceptional score has gone up a little bit. We are now at an 8.5, meaning I like them better. And in fact, I'd listen to these really any day. I think I rated them maybe an 8 before, and of course the dip switches do actually matter on these, and so this score is with them in the 0-1 configuration, so down up. Let's see. Oh, well, right now I have them, I think, in bass up, I think. Well, anyway, I've been messing with that. But, the score has gone up, and I do think the Aune, let me just zoom out a little bit here, is a little bit better with this set than, where are we? There we go. Than just your average device, sorry. Okay, so wideness. These are just really excellent. Okay, so if I compare to the Mest, I'm thinking maybe that's not a 10. I'm going to bump that down to like a 9. Now that I have a little bit better benchmark, you know, for what wideness can be, then yeah, probably a 9. 3D on these is a little, I'm going to say lacking for the price. It's not super lacking or anything like that, but if you compare to other sets in its price range, it's maybe a hair lacking. It has sort of a 2D quality. You definitely hear a lot of left to right wideness, but not so much depth or up down or things like that. So yeah, 7.5. Moving on to imaging, they're really, really good. We're going to give them an 8 out of 10. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you know, compared to the best stuff out there, probably a notch down from that, but very enjoyable and no problems with the imaging, in my opinion. Volume scaling has gone up a little bit compared to my last rating. I'm thinking definitely due to the Aune. And also, I don't know if I did this before when I had them, but these little tips, these little deep insertion 3-flange tips really, really do good for me. They tend to even out like high mids and some treble, and on these they do better for me. So that went up a little bit, and volume scaling as well went up a little bit. We're going to go to an 8. I think maybe I had them at a 7.5 before, something like that. Yeah, it just does better. I think that the tips may matter, and of course the Aune as well. I think that the 3 flange do control the high mids and treble a little better than other things, because of course they fill up more of your ear canal. You get less resonances, and the sound coming out of the bore is going to be much deeper in your ear with the 3 flange. So, yep. Volume scaling gets a little better. Bass, I actually, yeah, the Aune and this, the bass on this, it does control it a little bit better comparatively versus just, you know, phone or whatever device. So a little bit better, 8.5. They have the vented Sonion woofers, 4 of them, I think, and the shells on these are vented. You got like these little red and blue vents on them, and they hit really deep and hard. But the Sonions tend to be a little like poofy, is what I'd say. It's just compared to the dynamic drivers, just a little bit less maybe controlled, but they certainly extend well. So bass is going to be an 8.5. Moving on to mids, 7.5. I don't think the mids really changed much in terms of this comparison to my earlier review. You know, mids don't change too much. Very picky about my mids. These do feel a little dry, and I was actually A/B testing this versus the Soft Ears RSV, which I've got right here. Oh, man, I can't do this camera thing. Yeah, so testing with like kind of one of my favorite mid sets, the Soft Ears here, and yeah, they're not quite as to my preferences, but they're not bad. A little dry, not bad. Pretty good, pretty good. 7.5 to 8, depending on maybe how your ears hit them, but for me, it's about a 7.5. Moving on to treble. They have really nice treble. Not the best treble, but really nice. Compared to, say, like the U12T, which goes to 11, these are definitely not quite as nice. Just a little bit, not unrefined, but comparatively a little bit to the best of the best U12T kind of thing. Not at all unenjoyable, not peaky, none of that stuff. So 8.5, really pretty nice. And the Aune, I think, maybe bumped that up a hair, maybe. Yeah. So moving on to resolution. 8 out of 10, and yeah, you know, just your standard good BA set treble, in my opinion, and resolution as well. And then pressure buildup, they do not have any. They have vents. Isolation, yeah, they're like average to low to me. And I was, you know, with the 3 flange tips here, I'm shoving these way in, and still, I don't know what it is, but I can still hear a lot through them. Maybe the shells are empty, not sure, but anyways, that's that. And binaural goes up a hair. I think it was at a 2. It's at a 3 now. Little, just you know, these differences, my device and the tips did the trick. Special features get 2 because they have sound, what do you call it, tuning switches. And so would I buy these? Well, I already did, and I sold them. Would I buy them now? No, because I mean, look at this. They rate under the Neo, they rate under the Nana 2, the SA6, the Claire, etc., etc. And a lot of the sets are less expensive. And so I don't know if I'd buy them at this point, but I don't consider them a bad set. And certainly, if you have them, I would highly recommend that you maybe try some deep insertion tips and the my good old Aune B1s, which is phenomenal, which is this little guy right down here. Let's see if I can get that in view. That. This guy really, really loves all balanced armature sets. So I just wanted to get a little quick review. Score went up. Right now they're sort of under my top tier. Oh, they rated above the A8. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it at that. When I compare the A8 to some sets, I hear a little tinniness in the treble. But if I just listen to them by themselves, that sounds great. You know, it's one of those kind of things. A/B testing really matters. Thank you, the person that sent me these again to try out again. This is very interesting, and you were right. The Aune makes them better, and not a little bit, and it's not minor. It's enough to make them one of the better sets I've heard. So excellent. Have a great day, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.